Nahida's E skill marks up to 8 enemies and deal periodic Dendro damage on triggering reactions. This mark lasts for 25 seconds. Her burst provide buffs to this skill based on the element of characters you have in your team. With her first passive, she will give the active character elemental mastery boost based on the character who has highest EM in your team. Her second passive will provide her skill with bonus damage and crit rate based on her elemental mastery. For her skill priority, level her elemental skill then burst. You can also level her normal attacks if you are using her on field. If not, you can keep it at level 1. Since Nahida has a long burst animation, it's better to use it before your other character's skill and burst like Yelan, Xingqiu, Fischl, etc. So use Nahida's skill and burst, then go to your other characters. Also, it's totally worth it to take your Nahida to level 90. Nahida has many good weapon options. For on-field type, you mostly want a crit weapon. The best two are her signature weapon and Kagura's Verity. Lost Prayer is also a great option. For 4 stars, Widsith and Solar Pearl are an excellent weapon option for her. Wandering Evenstar is another great option as it will also buff your whole team. For craftable options, Mappa Mare is a great option for her. You can also use Favonius Codex if you need more energy for your team. For off-field Nahida, EM weapons are your go-to option. 1000 of Floating Dreams, her signature weapon, is her best option. Kagura's Verity is also viable as it will buff Nahida's personal damage mostly in quicken teams, but generally you will need EM on her to buff your main DPS. For 4 stars, Sacrificial Fragments is excellent on her. Magic Guide, which is a 3-star weapon, works really great on her. Its passive also buffs her damage on enemies affected with Electro and Hydro, which is great as it is achievable most of the time. Lastly, you can also use Thrilling Tales for off-field Nahida to buff your main DPS if don't have any weapons leveled. For artifact sets, you can go for either Deepwood Memories or Gilded Dreams. Use Deepwood Memories if no one in your team is using it. She can utilize this artifact efficiently. If you have another party member running this set, you can go for Gilded Dreams. If you don't have 4-piece, you can mix and use 2 pieces of these sets. Lastly, if you are a beginner, you can use 4-piece Instructor. Regarding how much EM you need on her, generally you will need around 1000 EM on her to get maximum buff, but 1000 EM seems like a lot. There are many external buffs that can make it easy to get 1000 EM on her, like Gilded Dreams, Sucrose, Instructor Set, Elegy Weapon and Nahida's own passive, which can give up to 250 EM if someone in your party has 1000 Elemental Mastery, or 200 if your Nahida has 800 EM, so you don't have to get 1000 EM just from her artifacts, so you can focus more on offensive stats like crit. For artifact stats, triple Elemental Mastery build. Elemental Mastery on both Sands and Goblet and crit on Circlet. And EM on Sands, Dendro damage bonus on Goblet and crit. Are all good on her. For off-field build, I recommend going for triple EM build, or EM, and crit. For on-field build, where you will be normal attacking with Nahida and applying Dendro, going EM, Dendro damage bonus and crit will be more beneficial. For artifact substats, first prioritize getting the enough amount of energy recharge needed, which in my opinion at least 120% should be enough. Then for off-field build, prioritize EM, crit, attack percent. For on-field, crit, EM and attack percent. Moving on to her constellations, the best 2 are C2 and C6. C6 will give her more Dendro damage on her normal attacks while inside her burst, making her on-field role much stronger. Her C2 is really powerful, and if you plan to pull for her constellations, I recommend stopping at C2 unless you are a whale. This constellation will make Burning, Bloom, Hyperbloom and Burgeon to be able to crit. Quicken, Aggravate and Spread will decrease the defense of enemies by 30% against enemies who are marked by her skill. There are many teams you can build with Nahida, but here are the few teams that I think are the best ones for her. First we have Ni Lo Bloom team. Here you can use on-field Nahida as your Dendro applier and fill the other 2 spots with a Hydro healer like Kokomi or Barbara and another off-field Hydro applier like Yelan for more offensive option, or full Elemental Mastery Ayato. You can use both Barbara and Kokomi if you feel like you need more heals. You will need to stack EM on your Hydro characters like Barbara, Kokomi or Ayato. You can also stack EM on Nahida if you feel like your Dendro application is not fast enough to maximize your damage. You can also run 2 Hydro and 2 Dendro characters for this team. You can use her in Hyperbloom team by pairing her with an Electro and Hydro character and the last character being a support, another Hydro character or another Electro character like Beidou who won't trigger Hyperbloom. You will need to stack EM on your Electro character that triggers the Hyperbloom. The Electro character can be Kuki, Raiden, Fischl, Yae Miko, Lisa. I prefer Kuki for this spot as she can also fill the role of a healer. Nahida will be mostly on field here for applying fast Dendro. You can use her in quicken teams by pairing her with Electro carries, like Sino, Beidou, Ketching, Fischl, Yae Miko or Raiden. It's better to use 2 Electro characters in this team, one being your Electro carry and other can be off-field characters like Fischl, Beidou, Kuki or Yae Miko. For the last slot you can use Zhongli if you don't have a healer in your team like Kuki. With Kuki, you can use other supports like Kazuha, Sucrose or another Hydro character like Yelan to make this team into Quick Bloom team. You can also build Burgeon team by pairing Nahida with a Hydro and a Pyro character and the last slot is flexible. You can use another off-field DPS or supports like Kazuha. For Pyro characters you can use Toma or Xiangling or even Bennett with Kazuha by infusing Pyro in Kazuha's burst. Another team you can use is Burn Melt Ganyu team. This team is very difficult to use as you have to do your charged shots before Nahida's 2.5 second cooldown on her skill is up. You need to make sure not to hit the enemies with Zhongli's pillar or Ganyu's other abilities as it might interrupt your reactions. You can use Nahida with Ganyu to give her buffs but I prefer the old Melt team as it is easier to use. I hope this video was helpful. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more Genshin Impact videos. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.